What's up, guys? So welcome back to another video on my YouTube channel. So we're going to take a quick look at my favorite pair, EURUSD, as the new week is approaching, right? We're going to look at what we'll be expecting for the upcoming trading week. Okay, and so before we step onto the chart, if you're not subscribed, please do want to hit that subscribe button and also turn on post notifications so that you don't miss out on future important videos like this one. Okay, so real quick, let's start from a clean chart, and we're going to start from the daily time frame. Now on the higher time frame, we've already defined this, I think, a couple of weeks ago, where we said that the daily is bearish with this break of structure right in here to the downside. Okay, and what happened was I marked this POI and I was expecting price to actually take it out. Okay, but then we had price still respecting this point of interest right in here. Okay, so you're going to have this as supply. Now right in here, this point of interest, after price has tapped in, the ideal thing to look for on the higher time frame is to see price take out this low. That's the first thing. Okay, so the moment we tap into this point of interest and we broke this level over here, the next thing is to expect price to come for this low right in here. Okay, but then as to whether price will come here or not, we will have to look at the lower time frames, because sometimes when price takes out a structural point like this, we can have price like retracing a little right before continuing the move, or sometimes it can even continue without making like a deeper retracement. Okay, so now this is the higher time frame story that we've established. We've tapped into a point of interest and we are looking forward to come to this low. Okay, now another thing is that if you're watching here, you're going to see a low that created this internal high, and then this last internal low that created this internal high, which means that in as much as we are looking at price to come to this low on the higher time frame, we also need to pay attention to this guy over here. Okay, which we can mark on either H4 or the daily time frame as a level of what demand. Okay, so if we come to like H4 time frame, we can decide to do what, refine this point of interest to, let's say, this guy over here, very tiny one, but it will be good if we keep it on the daily time frame. So let's maintain that daily POI over there. Okay, so what it means is that in as much as we're expecting price to get to this lowest point over here from the daily time frame story, we should also pay attention to this point of interest over here, because price can actually drop into this guy and then we can now begin to push to the top to go and break this POI over here. Okay, so that is what the higher time frame is trying to say. So currently, instead of focusing on, let's say, this low to this high, we can now focus on just this low to this high. The reason is because if we have not broken this last point, there is no way we're going to come here. So just to keep the amount of data, like, I mean, something precise for us to work with, we're just going to focus on this low that created this high over here. Okay, so now that we know that we are working inside this leg and we are supposed to come to at least this point of interest, let us go on to lower time frames to find out whether price wants to come there, or maybe after this tiny break we're gonna have like a retracement to the top. Now another thing is that a lot of people are going to ask me why I am saying this and not this. It is very, very simple. Now if you're watching here, this was the last high that created this low. Okay, so let me start from here. We have a high that created this low, we have this high that created this low. Now the real place where we had a breakout structure was when this high got taken out right in here. Okay, and after that high got taken out, we had that shallow retracement and then we pushed. Okay, that is why I didn't say this, I said this. All right, that is why I didn't choose this high, or I didn't choose this low, sorry, but I chose this one because this is where we had the real break. And so I know that even when we get a shallow retracement and we push to the top, this low is still valid. Okay, I don't need 50% retracement. So that is the reason behind me choosing this low and not necessarily this low. Okay, so I want you to get that. All right, so now we can step on to like intraday and begin to find out what happened inside this move right in here. Okay, so we can go to like M15 time frame. Now on the M15 time frame, we're going to see something real quick. You realize that in here we had this guy over here which created this low over here. Okay, someone asked me why not this low. The same thing is because this guy didn't take out this low. No, he created equal lows, but then we had this guy which went all the way to create this. All right, I know you can see these lows over here. As to why I didn't choose this low, I can't go into details right in here. Okay, so currently all what we know is that we have a high that created a low. All right, so we have this beautiful break of structure right in here. Okay, if you watch closely, we didn't break here, we broke here. Okay, so you always need to pay attention to those kind of details. It's going to help you a lot. Now after this break of structure, what are we looking at? We are looking at a point of interest sitting somewhere here, okay, on the M15 time frame. Now what does it mean? It means that on the intraday level, after we have taken out this guy, price is supposed to do what? Come to at least this point of interest, and then when price get there, we are now going to see if price will hold from this point of interest and push to the top to continue that retracement that we're looking at on the higher time frame. Remember I said sometimes when price breaks this, it can make like a retracement before we continue or something like that. You remember? So in here we need to make sure that, okay, we've had this point of interest defined. Another thing that you can do is that even from the H4 time frame, you can see the clear break. I mean, you can see the clear high that created a low that made the break. So instead of like selecting your point of interest from M15, you can also take it from H4 like this. Okay, so we can have it like that, okay, as your point of interest, which means that after price had taken out this high, we can expect a retracement into this point of interest at least. Then we can see if price will make a push to the top, or we're going to continue the movement to the downside. You know, it is not every time they're going to have price, let's say, do break, respect, retrace. No, sometimes price will just do break, okay, instead of respecting, it will just fail and continue the move to the downside. So we can have something like that. Okay, but all what we have at the back of our mind is that we need to watch this point of interest. So currently we are working inside this low to this high. So now let's define what is happening inside this leg. Okay, so now we can properly step onto intraday, and I want you to watch something. So within the internal structure, within the internal structures inside this leg, okay, you're gonna have, me personally, let me click all of these things. All right, so with me, what I'm going to do is that I'm now going to look for what the internal structures are saying inside what this leg that we marked. Okay, so currently, me personally, this is what I saw this quick fake out over here. All right, we had this fake out over here, and so it leaves me with a point of interest again here, sitting here. So we have this point of interest. So I'm beginning to define what my intraday will now look like. Okay, so now with this, I can now start looking for the kind of setups that I should be waiting for. You don't just wake up and then you start taking entries. No, you need to know where to look for your trade. So first of all, with this point of interest defined, this is the first scenario that I'm going to look for. Okay, the first thing is that when the market opens on Sunday, okay, early Monday, what I'm going to do is I'm going to watch inside this point of interest. Let's say if price taps into this point of interest before my trading time, okay, I'm just going to wait nicely, and then I'll try to look for a buy to the top. Okay, at least so that I don't what do you call it, go ahead of the market. Okay, sometimes you can stick to your buyers in such a way that, I mean, they call it marrying your buyers. You're going to marry your buyers in such a way that even when price is trying to tell you something, you feel like, oh, because you've already defined your buyers, you are right, and so you shouldn't change it. So what I'm going to do is, on a normal day, if I take a buy from here, I'll be expecting price to clear this high. Okay, but because of this point of interest, I have no idea whether price wants to do something like this. Let's say a push into this guy and then drop. I have no idea. So first thing, when I take a buy from here, at least 1:5 or even to this level over here, I'm gonna get out. Okay, then if price goes ahead to take out this high like this, then I'll have a reason to take a counter trend trade. You understand? So that's the first one. Or secondly, we can have price respecting this guy and then drop. But ideally, I prefer to see price move from here to clear the highs, not necessarily even coming into this point of interest. Trust me. So that's the first scenario where we're going to have price come into this point of interest, and then we're going to look for buys to the top at least. Okay, then the second scenario is that we can take out this guy over here. The moment we take out this guy, again, we don't necessarily need to tap into this POI to give us a trade. No, we can take out this low over here and price will give us a what? A counter trend trade, which we can capitalize on before even dropping. Do you understand? So that's the second scenario. First scenario, I'm repeating myself. First scenario, we tap into this point of interest, we look for a counter or a pro trend, okay? Because if we tap into this guy, we are looking for price to clear this high. But because we don't know whether the high will hold or not, the reason why I'm saying that is, if you're watching here, we have this internal break over here. So this can be like an internal shift to drop. You understand? Second scenario, instead of respecting the POI, we are now going to what? Take it out, get a counter, okay, without tapping into this point of interest. Then the third scenario is that we are going to have price tapping into this point of interest, and then we can now make a move to the top. This one, when we tap into this main POI over here, let's say price makes a move and tap into this point of interest over here, I would personally expect price to clear this high, because this is my last low that created my high, and so we have this tapping. Okay, this will be to come and clear this target liquidity. So these are the three scenarios that I am looking at. Okay, the last one, which is going to be my fourth scenario, is that instead of price respecting this point of interest, we can break and go ahead and tap into this point of interest that we saw from the higher time frame, that is the H4 time frame. So these are what I'll be looking at on Euro USD. Very simple. You keep it super simple. Okay, so this is what I'll be looking at. Now if you found value in this video, give this video a thumbs up, leave a like and a comment in the comment section. I'll see you within the week with an insightful video. Cheers, all the best this week. Have a peaceful week. Stay safe. Bye bye.